Hey, what's up, everybody? Kevin here. Hey, let's see, let me get rid of that banner there. There we go. Okay, I am live now. Okay, I'm at a church in Virginia. I drove here yesterday, worked on some sound system stuff over the last evening. Had a good Mexican meal last night, and then today we're working on it again. So, hey, I'll get started here in just a second. I was just going to catch you up on a little bit of what I've been up to lately. Last Friday night, I did front of house for the Huckabee Show, which it was a lot of fun. It's a great team, great show, very well put together. I learn a lot every time I go. Some great people to learn from there. And then Saturday night, I was at a tractor pull dipping ice cream, helping some friends who just bought hey Carl, what's up, Mark? Some friends just bought a ice cream truck and they were doing a tractor pull. First time I'd ever been to a tractor pull. Man, uh, if you've never been to a tractor pull, do yourself a favor, go check one out. Okay. Okay, so I am about to head back to Nashville in the next hour or so, and I've got some more work that I need to do in this church. But I've got a keynote speech coming up at the University of Casper College in Casper, Wyoming. By the way, can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comments here before I get started. I want to make sure that everybody can hear me. But I've got this keynote coming up, and we're going to be doing some mixing, and I'm going to be teaching people the framework, at least the way I think of as a framework of getting a quick mix. And so, what I thought I would do is run it by you guys, see if you had any thoughts, see if anything was cool. You can hear me. That's good to know. See if you had any thoughts about what this quick mixing format is. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started because I am going to have to probably cut this one short. I've got almost 8 hours to drive to get back home to my girls and my studio. But this framework, I'm calling it the open framework, OPEN. Okay. So mixing is one of those things where there is a system, you develop a system over time, whether you realize it or not. Sometimes it's a good system, sometimes it's a bad system. And what I want to show you is kind of what I've kind of dug up as my system for doing things and build a framework for people who want to build a mix quickly and maybe you don't know exactly what to do next or what to do first or what to do last or when you've got the mix done. So I'm going to teach you this framework called the open framework. Brand new trademark, Kevin Ward Music. Let me know what you think about it, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Open framework. So the O in open is for organize. So one of the things I'm noticing, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but this church that I'm working at, they have mics everywhere on the board. I'm not going to have time to change all of that because I don't want to throw any landmines in for Sunday because that's the day it needs to be the best. And I don't want to throw out like where did the bass guitar mic go? I don't want to do any of that. So, but right now, their board is just all over the place. Like one mic will be the pulpit, and then there might be an open channel, and then the next mic may be acoustic guitar, and the next mic may be open, and the next might be wireless one, and then there may be a wired mic, and then a lapel mic, and then on the next page you've got another wired mic, two more lapel mics, three open channels, and then you flip over two pages, and then there's um, the signal coming from the computer up front. So organization is real important. If you don't know where to find stuff and you can't find stuff quickly, then it's just as bad as not knowing where it is for that time period, right? So organize your session. Know where in this case, when it comes to live mixing, it's not knowing, it's having channels laid out in an order that makes sense. Like all of your drums, all of your guitars, all of your keyboards, all of your wired vocal mics, all of your wireless, or the order that they appear on the stage, whatever the organization is, doesn't matter as long as you and whoever you're working with, maybe you're an assistant or somebody who may be mixing after you, or somebody who may cast judgment on you for the way your board is organized. You need to have some kind of way to keep things organized in your head. Okay, so organization, and that could be as much as importing a mix template, which I advocate a lot working on that mix template. You put it in, and everything just appears the same way every time. Um, so have an organized session, have a workflow so that you don't have to think about where things are and look for them because at least in my opinion, that takes a different part of the brain and it gets you out of the creative thought process and more into the technical thought process. So create the technical part first, labeling channels, color coding channels, whatever you need to do to make it feel organized to you. So O in the open framework is organized. So pop some questions in there if you have them. I also want to say hello to some people: Chris Crunk, Ace Fury, uh, Nathan McFarland, Stephen Klein. Man, thank you guys for coming today. Nathan, I am in Danville, Virginia, right outside of Danville, Virginia, working at a church here, and I'm in their music room. Look what I found. That's a real American-made Fender precision bass right there. Yamaha acoustic, and there's an old Fender amp down here. Anyway, I may go poking around see what I can find. You never know what you can find in old churches, right? Okay, so we're talking about Anthony. Thanks for coming, man. William, do you always use the same color for instruments? Yeah, William, the way I do it, the way I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to become better and better at organizing my session to know what color things are. Like I don't necessarily color all the instruments the same color. I'll do the drums one color, the guitars one color, the keyboards another color, and my reverbs another color. And the reason I do that is I'm trying to train my brain to go green. That's going to be an effects return, or brown. That's the drums. Because I use a control surface. It's the Avid S1 with an iPad. On the iPad, you can hit a channel button, and then you can organize your channels by their color coding. So it's um, making me kind of uh, go the way of like color coding everything. I never was. I used to, just like things all a different color and whatever made me feel good. So, yeah, so that's the way I do those things, and I'm becoming more and more stringent about how to do that. So that William, that answered your question. Chris Crunk, if I find an old B3, check this out, dude. That's an old Leslie of some kind. I'm going to ask some questions about that. I don't think it's a 147, but it is a Leslie. I'm gonna check it out. Anyway, okay, so let's move on through this framework. Um, the P in open is prioritize. So when you're doing a quick mix, now I want to use an example that you probably heard me talk about before, but in our one of our first mix coach experience weekends, we ended up at Sony on Music Row. There was a demo session from the night before that was up. So I pulled all the channels down and I said, okay, here's the challenge. 3 minutes and 29 seconds is how long the song is. You've got 3 minutes and 29 seconds to build this mix. Go. And I was kind of surprised to see that, people would like push up a kick drum a little bit and listen to it and then like pull it down a little bit and then pull the snare drum up and then pull the bottom of the snare drum. And it was taking a long time. And I said, you've got to you've got to know that when you build a mix like this, especially when you're building it for a tracking session, for you guys who do tracking sessions with large groups of musicians, best training ground possible, because you have to prioritize why you're doing a mix. Is this mix for the artist to send home? And is the singer going to be listening to this mix? And if so, that your goal as to how you need to prioritize this mix is there. Is this a mix that's going to have overdubs on it? Does it need click track in it? Is this mix a rough mix just so somebody can hear the song? How quick can I get that put together? Is this a headphone mix, or because then if this is a headphone mix that needs to be done quickly, then just how much 6K is on your snare drum is really almost irrelevant because you have to prioritize why you're doing a mix in the first place. So prioritize your mix. Looks like there's a couple of comments. Stasu, that's a cool name, man. I hope I said it right. I really do hope I said it right. Chimura. Okay, hey, thanks for coming. We're just talking about the open framework, and the O is organize, P is prioritize, and this is why you do the mix in the first place. If this is a mix for, let's just say this is a mix for broadcast, and there's someone speaking. If the mic is not on, his mic that he's speaking on, then how good your kick drum sound is not important, right? So you have to, in your mind, prioritize, organize so that you can find it, prioritize, and you should be able to find it if it's organized, right? So the third, the E in the open framework for quick mixing is energize. Find things in the mix that gives the mix energy. And this kind of cross pollinates a little bit to the priority or to how you prioritize your mix. I mean, is this a mix for a drummer? Then you probably need to concentrate on drums a little bit more and put the lion's share of your time there. The energize. So, kick, as we know in pop music, the kind of music that most of us like to mix. Um, if it's a jazz song that's piano driven, then you add energy by making sure that the piano is on top. If it's a real hard hitting country or rock song, kick and snare, bass, those are and guitars. Those are your energy. That's where your energy comes in, right? So before you go trying to, pull out EQ and and compress things, you have to find where the energy is, right? Okay. So energize. The N in the open framework is neutralize. This is where your session's organized. You know where to find everything. You know why you're doing the mix. You've added the energy to the mix, and now inevitably you're going to find some things that just keep jumping out. This background singer over here, they keep popping this word out. Okay, what do you think? Compressor. So this is the compressors don't matter much in the very beginning until you get your mix kind of structured and built on this framework. So neutralize the things that need to be neutralized. How do you neutralize things? Well, your filters. Um, if you've got a if you've got a guitar cabinet that's just like woofing in the subs, you probably need to take the filter it out a little bit. A vocal that's pee popping constantly and muddy, probably need to add a filter to it, right? Um, Maybe you've got a vocalist in their mic a lot, and that's adding energy to it, but they're pee popping a lot, right? Could be a filter. It could be that you notch out a little bit at 100 or 110, 120. Um, you could have the singer who, like, you get up there and he adds energy to it, but just every now and then he just adds too much energy to your mix, and he goes over the top and it's too loud. That loud part of your mix is the thing that you need to tame down. You need to neutralize a little bit, right? Or de-energize. That's where you add your compressor. I mean, and this could go, and this framework as you keep going, there's a plethora of things that you can do. You can do multi-band compression, you could do multi-band EQ, you could do de-essing, you could do EQ and compression, you could do all the things you want to. Uh, Anything that you have in your toolbox to neutralize things that need to be neutralized. You still got your energy there, and sometimes that energy comes with a lot of responsibility. Sometimes that responsibility is putting a compressor on it so that you can keep the energy up, right? That's just another example here. Um, Not a great example, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. When I was working in California, sometimes it would be a bass player who would be playing the bass, and then that's cool. And he would be playing the bass, and he'd be hitting the bass right above the pickup. Like he'd be, since I've got a bass right here, I'll show you. He was doing this. He was playing it just like that. So the string is actually hitting the pickup before you're getting the tone out of the string, right? So how do you neutralize that? Well, the best thing to do is, as Joe Gilder says, get it right at the source. Convince the bass player that slapping that pickup with the string and getting that electrical noise is not adding to his bass sound. It's not doing him any favors, because what you have to do is that energy that's created with him playing over the string, you have to neutralize. And a lot of times, what the easiest thing to do And the priority of the mix, if something's sticking out of the mix, is just pull the whole bass track down, right? So you have to figure out, as we build these tools in our toolbox, you have to figure out ways to properly neutralize something. So anyway, open framework. O is for organize. P is for prioritize. E is for energize, and N is for neutralize. So as you create a quick mix, just think of those things in your head. And if you get hung on like the way a snare sounds, is that why you're doing the mix? Is that something that needs to be, um, is that something that needs to be neutralized, energized? So anyway, hey, I'll sorry, bump the camera there on my computer. Okay, so Chris, what the mute button is for? Yeah, you really neutralize a bass player by doing that. I mean, but that if you muted every offensive instrument, probably best is to educate people and get them to play a certain way. That's why Nathan, Chris, some of these guys that get to record really good musicians, that one of the big appeals about working in a big music town like Nashville is that these musicians are a lot of times recording engineers also, and they give you good tone, and there's not really a whole lot you have to do to neutralize anything. It's all about energize, and any neutralize that you have to do is because you energized things in a certain way. So anyway, what do you think about that? Does that make sense? Is that something that that people can jump on board with, especially people that maybe don't have a ton of experience mixing, don't know where to start, don't know which button to tweak first? Let me know. Okay, guys, I am going to have to cut this short today and finish 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 going through this room. Um, Found a pair of these too. I don't know if they use these anymore. Used to use these all the time in the studio. These are great headphones. Fostex T20s. Those are nice. Also found this. Some finger ease. That's good stuff to have. And some tiny, tiny scissors. And that Leslie over there, I don't know what that is, but I'll find out what it is. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all the comments here. If you have any further questions, or maybe I missed a letter, or maybe an example, pop it in the comments. I would love to see it. Okay. Hey, also, for those of you who haven't, or maybe those of you who may be watching later, there's a workshop, mixcoach.com/workshop, and I hope that link is working because I had to tweak up some website stuff, and hopefully I'm switching stuff, my server over on the website. So hopefully that'll work. If it does, it'll be at mixcoach.com/workshop. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out, and I will see you, members. I will see you tomorrow. Everybody else, I will see you next week. Okay, talk to you soon.